Hey everyone, enjoy the show. He comes in from Ben in Columbus, Ohio. He wants to know what drew you in and got you interested in making a living as an antique dealer. That's a good question.
It really is a good question, Ben. Two things. One, when about 1968, my father was very interested in the Old West. And in fact, he was so interested that he built himself his own Western town. So 1966, I was about 11. He bought a 20-acre parcel in Colton, California, and built a place called Movieland Frontier Town. You have to see it. It is on YouTube. That's Movieland Frontier Town. You'll see some of my humble beginnings there. So he put me to work over there at 11 years old, building this Western town. He gave me a post hole digger, some hammers, etc. And I was over there pounding nails. However, I always enjoyed the antiques that my father bought because he bought antiques, mutoscopes, viewing machines, wagons. He had Hearst, he had catapults from Ben-Hur, all kinds of stuff. I always thought they were cool, but I didn't necessarily think at that time I was going to be in that business. And then later on down the highway, maybe when I was 22, we had a falling out, and it was at that time antique slot machines became legal in about 1977 in the state of California. They were hotter than a pistol. They had to be 1941 or older at that time. So my other brother had quit my family business as well as I did, and we took some money and went on the road and started buying antique slot machines, bringing them home, fixing them up. I was a young man. I enjoyed it at the time. I was able to go out at night and go to the bars and talk to the women, and I'm 22 years old. I got a nice car. I got a house. So I found that I could make every day as a pleasure because it's really not work. It's fun. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, it does. But you know, tell the viewers too, because a lot of, especially the people in the local area, tell them more about your family business, Schafer's Antiques.
Well, my father was actually in the piano business. For those of you who grew up here in Southern California, he was Vern Schafer of Schafer and Sons Pianos and Organs, which was a huge outlet organization here in Southern California. We had 10 stores, 200 employees. Then we took Schafer and Sons, went national in a wholesale business. We were very successful. We actually did $100,000 a month in advertising every month. So, and that was split primarily between newspaper and radio and television, predominantly television.
Is there anything that we're doing today at the Mantiques Network that you learned from your dad when he was promoting the pianos?
I learned everything from my father.
Okay. He was a showman, or?
My father was, I'm a fast guy, but my dad was 5 times faster. I learned how to merchandise. I learned how to work hard. I learned how to line things up. You know, what you see here, the way I do things is a direct descendant from what I learned from my father. He taught me how to do things correctly.
Well, it's kind of interesting because a lot of kids would say, hey, I'm going to take over the family business. You had no interest in that because you wanted to be your own guy, yet you did appreciate some of your dad's characteristics and his love for antiques and carried it over to what we're doing here today.
Exactly. I mean, I learned everything from my dad, you know, from a little boy, and then I improved on things I thought that he didn't do right, which was very little, and dropped the things that he did wrong, which he was a pretty big tyrant. So I don't do it that way. More bees with honey than vinegar.
Very good.
And that's really helpful.
Thanks for the question. That was a good one.
Thank you.
Our next caller comes from Betty from Atlanta, Florida. She wants to know, how do we find these items that we sell and restore? What's the magic behind it, Jim?
Okay, Betty, what is the magic behind it? Back in the very early days, we used to do swap meets. We'd go to swap meets. They had some really good antique shows here in Southern California. Rose Bowl. They used to have an antique swap meet at the Orange County Fairgrounds. We'd do a little of that, but more importantly is we used to go on the road and find it. You can still do that. There's towns. I could go with $10,000 in my pocket and a pickup truck and just take off. And I'll come back with that pickup truck loaded full of good stuff. Because the thing about this stuff that we do is it never dies. It just changes hands. Nobody throws this in the trash. Nobody throws any of the good stuff away. We don't want the junk, and the good stuff hangs around. So in the old days, what we used to do to look for antique coin operated games and anything that's good is we would take money, go to a town, we'd get there at night or in the morning, and we would go to a bar. That's how we would do it in the old days. And we'd go in and we'd start having beers with the bartender, tipping a little bit, socializing with some people, and then pretty soon you start asking, hey, we're kind of looking for some old antiques. After they get to know you a little bit, they know that you're not trying to rob the town, you want to spread some money around, well, go see Bob down the street. Well, Joe, can I tell him you sent me? Yes, you can. And you go down and say, well, I was up talking to Joe, and he sent me down here and told me I should talk to you. So nowadays, we're fortunate that because we're worldwide, we get 2 or 3 calls a day when people want to sell us stuff. Because the stuff never dies when people do. A lot of collections are coming out. I just bought one in Arizona, as you know, a whole house full of stuff. And eBay is a very good source to buy stuff. You gotta be careful, you gotta know what you're doing, because a lot of guys sell inferior products that they know are, but they say that they don't know anything about it. But it cost me a lot of money to learn this business because I made a lot of mistakes in the beginning. Am I answering your question?
Yeah, you are. Tell them too is how we were using the auctions in the beginning and when that worked for us and why it generally doesn't work for us when we go there.
First of all, I never sell at auctions because it doesn't work for me. However, as you know, I just bought this beautiful wheel. There's a beautiful 5-foot wheel right here that I just bought locally at an auction, at South Coast Auction. It popped up there. I do look at a lot of auctions. I do a lot of eBay. As you know, we've done a lot of more of these auctions. We've bought as many as 50 pieces at one auction, which, at the end was 6 digits when it got sold. I have a very good nose for it. I look at auction sites, I look at eBay, people call me all the time. Sometimes we just go out, we're doing some business in Arizona now, I'm finding safes and gas pumps and all kinds of stuff in Arizona. If you look, you're gonna find it, right?
Right. I was telling the guy the other day, one of the problems when you go to Morphe's are, we're there buying as retailers and there's collectors there paying full retail for things. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. So we couldn't afford to pay these prices because the retail, there was nothing left for us. But these guys are collectors, they don't care, they want it.
And we've been able to, because there's 1,000 items being sold in 2 days.
Yeah.
And as you know, we've sat through a full 2 days, and I just wait until I see something that's right, because they don't buy everything top dollar, and we've walked out of there with all kinds of.
We also have another strategy, it's called the pizza strategy. We know that about 11 o'clock, 11:30, all these old guys are getting hungry, the collectors. So as they're running up to shovel pizza in their face, we're down there knocking off whatever buys that we can do at the time. So it's worked out good for us. But like Jim said, that was the early days. Now because of our social media presence on YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook. So it's worked out great for us.
No question about it. Whenever we buy a good piece and they know we're going to restore it, they come say, can you send us a picture when you're done? Sure, we'll do that. So I hope I've answered your question.
You sure did. This next question comes in from a young fellow named Ricardo from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. It says, I'm very excited in becoming a collector and don't know how I should start. I'm still in high school and only have the money I'm making working at Domino's.
Okay, Ricardo, if you're interested in this, you're going to have a lot of fun with it. Really, the good starter stuff is gumball machines because you can buy them cheap. They're not very common. All you got to have is some pliers, a couple of wrenches, screwdrivers, a couple of drill motors, just a starter toolkit you can buy on eBay. And you need some good spray paint. Don't forget to prime before you paint. Get yourself some good spray paint. Typically, if there's some springs and stuff missing, you can typically buy some of that stuff at Home Depot and some of your specialty stores. Or you can also find parts on eBay, and if you go to the vintage gumball forums on YouTube and online, these guys are really helpful. You'd be surprised how much fun it is And when you're done with a piece, you'll be very proud of yourself and proud of the piece. And people will be proud of you. And you probably make some money at it. Whether you are or not, the objective is, if you're a beginner, is to buy a $100 gumball, fix it up, sell it for $200. Buy a $200 gumball, fix it up, sell it for $400. Buy a $400 gumball, fix it up, sell it for $800. Then take your $800 and buy four $200 gumballs. Let the collection and the money build itself. It can be done quite easily. All it takes is a little time.
Yeah, Ricardo, if you've got a swap meet in your area that you can go to, like Jim said, like the Long Beach Swap Market or something like that, that's where you're going to find them. Or on eBay, like Jim is saying, again, be careful. Make sure you're not buying a contemporary piece or a cast or a knockoff piece or something like that. You want to try to get something. Or you can go on eBay Marketplace. I find Facebook Marketplace to be another place that's starting to develop now that you can get some good picks on. So try these out. It's great that a young guy wants to get collecting and keep working at Domino's, and pretty soon you won't have to. You either own a Domino's or you be in this business like we are. I'm just going to go right into the next question. What is the eras that you basically search for? What from what period to how late in the years do you look for things?
First thing is, it's really ironic that I had a fellow that was about my age in here from Germany, grew up in Germany just this week. He came in here and he's a collector of European military stuff. But he says to me, he goes, you guys got the best stuff on the planet. America built the best stuff on the planet. There ain't nobody got what we got. We built all of the cool stuff. He couldn't have said it more times. The sweet spot in the good stuff was built from 1899 to 1950. After about 1950, we started going into to injection molding. Things started turning plastic. Things started turning cheaper. They started building stuff in Japan. And when we were kids, built in Japan, it was junk. Now it's some of the greatest stuff in the world. Okay, they build good stuff now, but there's a period of time where it wasn't so good. But past 1950, I don't know. I kind of stay away from it because the goods from 1899 to 1950, that is predominantly what we deal with here, and that's what people really like.
Okay, well then this next question rolls right in. This is from Barb in Woodstock, Illinois. Is there anything collectible after the 1970s?
Yes, there are things that are collectible after the 1970s, but it's hard for me to pick one. Some of the one that I would come to mind would be stereo equipment. That seems to be very hot now. Where those back then, these high dollars got Marantz, Panasonic, Sony, all of the good turntables, not the real stuff so much, but what played 45s and LPs, as well as guitars. There's some really good guitars out there now from that era that are worth a lot of money. Not a lot comes to mind to me from the 1970s.
Champ from Verado, Arizona wants to know, are most of our clients located in Southern California?
Not that many. I would say, because we're worldwide now on the net, probably 5%. I would say 95% of the things that we sell here, we ship across the United States of America, which is fabulous because, you know, that's a big market. As you know, Jeff, we send stuff to Paris, France. We send stuff to Indonesia. We have the ability to create and ship out of the country.
And there's just not a lot of antique dealers, period, overall. And there's very few of them that are willing to ship and buy all over the world like we do. Most guys are just very comfortable selling to a local market in a local retail store in their town and really don't expand out, which as soon as we got this business, we said that's not what we're doing. We want to service the whole world, basically.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So speaking of the whole world, this one comes in from Frank from Athens, Greece. Says, have you seen many private collections? If so, what are some of your more interesting collections and exhibits that you've seen? I thought you probably want to talk about Roger's exhibits or anybody else you can think of on the top of your head.
Well, as you know, to answer that question, they could go on our YouTube channel.
That's right.
And look at our private collection videos.
Rogers and Tim's, I think, would be the best to look at.
Yes. As well as the guy down south with all of the musical instruments. That was fabulous.
Oh yeah,
with all the Nickelodeons.
Yeah.
I forget what we called that one.
Yeah. But they're all under our reality show, so if you want to see those tours, and we're trying to do more of it. It's hard to get into these private guys' collections because they're private. And a lot of these guys are extremely wealthy, and they don't care if anybody from the public ever sees their things at all. And you can only hope that a lot of these collections, like the rumor that I hear is that David Copperfield, who's arguably the biggest collector in the world, his collection of 90,000 square foot warehouse in Vegas is going to be turned into a museum after he passes away. That'll be his legacy in Vegas, is leaving something like that for people to see, which I think is great because, again, it's not like the cars that are out at the shows all the time. If you don't know somebody, you're not seeing most of the stuff. And most of the today's museums are not dedicated to collecting this kind of stuff.
I guess if you ever got to get to David Copperfield's museum, it would be more fascinating than any car collection.
Yeah.
Because of the eclectic and what he collects.
Okay, this next question comes in from Tom from Tampa, Florida. When's the next time you guys are going to be on Porn Stars?
Hopefully never. You know, we have never, Jeff and I have never contacted ever a reality show, ever. When we started this, we knew that after we got the Mantiques Network going, that they would come to us as they have. I think that we've been contacted 8 or 9 times by reality shows trying to put deals together. It never really happened, which I'm kind of glad because I don't know that I would want to support one of those. But Pawn Stars, we've been on twice. They contacted us twice. We went down there and did the shows for them, which was really good for us. We actually did it kind of just street credibility. We didn't need the money. We went down there because we'd be on Pawn Stars, friends, family, you folks. It was fun.
Rick was very cool. It was nice, but we've done it, and really no reason for us to go back. Everyone had seen us on it, and yeah, you know, it was good. So I guess the next question he had as well is, why don't you guys have your own network television show? And like Jim was saying, we've been probably approached by every studio there is, every network there is. The problem is, even though that we could provide the same kind of show that they got there right now, it's the same kind of show. They're looking for a lot of drama, a lot of personal problems, and so on and so forth, and really not interested in the deal. We have been reverse pitching back to them, saying we think the viewers, you people out there, would be more interested in what it's like to be an antique dealer in Southern California with a day in the life of, and to go into our customers' collections and see these private collections. We think that alone would have been a show, but they're got a bunch of young kids working on it. They're all stuck on, you know, the whole Chumley and, you know, Rick Jr., all this kind of shows, and we're just not interested in it. So that's why someday the right project might go. But when those projects come down, people have to pretty much abandon their businesses because the production takes quite a long time, and we're just not in a position or have any interest in doing that. Okay, this next question comes in from Jill from Muskegon, Wisconsin. I'd like to become a professional restorer when I graduate from high school. What can you recommend to get me started in terms of what do they need to learn? And where can they learn it?
You have to start. I hope you work in your dad's body shop, because you know it takes time to learn any trade, and unless you're going to be specific, you got to be the jack of all trades, which pretty much we are here. You know, if we wanted to do cars or motorcycles, we have the talent to do that.
You know, the perfect example. I don't want to interrupt you, but I am. The perfect example is to talk about Jaime. What Jaime was, what he does. What he did before he came here, his ability to work on cars and stuff like that, which made him kind of perfect for what what he's doing for us now.
Yes, you need to be mechanically inclined. You know, you have to know your way around a toolbox. Like he said, Jaime came here a little over, maybe around 3.5 years ago, never touched any of this stuff. It took him a full year to get up and running, where he wasn't afraid of pieces. You know, I'm giving him something delicate here, you know, and what do I do? Anyway, but he was mechanically inclined to start with. So I was able to turn things over to him. Now I pretty much don't have to say anything. I just give it to him and he knows what to do. But it took him 3 years. So it's a process.
Yeah, and again, he came in, like Jim said, with skill set. He was already fixing and restoring classic cars for people. And he's also a tattoo artist.
Yes.
Which again, that helps as far as the creative things in terms of pinstriping and so on and so forth, his ability to look at signage and so on and so forth. So it's interesting, like Jim said, it's a collection of a lot of different skills and things that you enjoy.
Yeah, do what you like.
Okay, this next one comes in from Doug from Scottsdale, Arizona. Doug wants to know if you have your own private collection.
I do have private stuff. Yes, I do. You know, as things come and go here, I don't take a lot because I guess this is all my private collection is for sale. But there's some pieces that are dear to my heart that I take and put aside that's not really for sale. However, out of my private collection, I would sell things to buy a better piece because I can make some money on my private collection. If I paid $5,000 and a guy offered me $7,000, I might take it and then go buy 7 that's worth 10. So you can let your collection grow itself through profitability, and that's what all of this has done. All of this came from itself, right? And this all grew from itself. Sell 1, buy 2.
This next question comes in from Howard from Seattle, Washington. What are your personal favorite things to collect? Is there any one particular thing that you like over anything else? I mean, when I met you, you were a slot machine guy. Is there anything that you like to collect and that you like?
Well, as you know, I like go-karts. I just started liking those.
Well,
but
let's just roll right into that then, because I think that's a good thing. The next question was from Tom from Cleveland, Ohio. Wants to know, will the Mantiques Network be expanding its offering? So I think it's a really good example to talk about the go-karts, how you went to a meet that wasn't intended to sell go-karts, how you obtain these, why are you getting the go-karts, what are our customers possibly going to do with these go-karts? Are they just for looks, or are they run? Break it down.
I went over to a car collection and I was there. When I grew up, we had go-karts, but I never thought about it over my career in this of getting go-karts. But I was over at a private car collection, you and I both went, and I seen a cart that was basically just like this when I went, I love that. I'm gonna get me some of those. So I did my homework and it took me about 6 months from the time I decided to buy one until I had 7 of them. 6 of them I bought all at one time. But I'm the kind of guy that if I see something and I like it, I buy it. You know what I mean? Because, and I'm running out of stuff to buy, kind of. You know what I mean? Because we're in all categories that we like at this point.
Well, and that's a good point too. What we like, buying stuff that you wanted when you were a kid. I mean, what kid didn't want? My dad wasn't letting me have one of these. He built a go-kart. He did let me have a mini bike. So, Dad, I tell you, still to this day, is the greatest thing you ever got me. But you just got to kind of revert back to your own desires as a kid. What would you want to have? Well, everyone would like to have a go-kart. That we're no different from the people that buy from us.
It's like I like the movie business. So if you look, you probably can't see it, but I started buying Mitchell movie cameras. They're fantastic. You know, they were started in 1937, and I just introduced myself to that recently, and I'm like, I'm gonna get some of those. I did.
Okay, I live in Dallas. This is from Maureen in Dallas. I live in Dallas. Is it possible to have a slot machine that's been in my family for 2 generations restored at your shop? If so, how does this work, and what are the lead times for something like this?
It is possible to have one restored at my shop. I've done many restorations. They come out really nice. Right now, we're backed up about a year. But a lead time, I try to get everything, regardless of what the restoration is, out by 90 days. And typically it's sooner than that because we really like to get them out of here because we need the space. So the answer is about 90 days. And yes, you could, but we're backed up a year right now.
Yeah, let me just touch on the restoration, because we do get a lot of questions and inquiries like this. The amount of people that can restore the things that we restore is very limited. And when we first started the business, restoring other people's items was very much part of our business model. Unfortunately, we are so backed up in our long-term customers' projects and our own projects that we can never entertain fixing anything. we only do full restorations or not. And like Jim says, we can't even do it for the rest of the year. You should still contact us to see if it's something that would make sense when we are ready to do it, or maybe refer you to something else. But we really are not set up. We have the one video, how to unjam a slot machine, which everybody loves. You'll be disappointed if you bomb us with all kinds of, can you get me this part? Hey, this won't work, this won't work. Because it's impossible unless we have the machine on. Whatever videos that we have up there right now pretty much answers the question. The last question we have in here is from Chloe from Sonoma, California. Chloe wanted to know if we've ever sold anything to a museum. I can think of two pieces right off the top of my head.
Take it, Jeff.
First was we sold the three-wheel trike movie, the 1940s trike MGM bike, to Volo Car Museum in Illinois, the Volo, which has the Batmobile and all the famous cars there. And then we sold some AAA porcelain signs to the Peterson Museum right here in Los Angeles. So yeah,
we just sold a mutoscope, a San Francisco earthquake mutoscope, to the military museum.
The military in San Francisco,
right under the bridge, right?
Right underneath the Golden Gate Bridge. So yes, we do.
Yeah.
I mean, so that's kind of a compliment too, that museums would come to us because they're comfortable that we are selling them a piece that, one, is original, legitimate, and has been restored period correct, in order for them to be able to display something like that. So thank you very much for your questions. This has been kind of fun. I thought, Jim, I said, let's just try to get them all together because we kind of get them in piecemeal. If you have any other questions you'd like to ask us about how this or how that, or any particular pieces or anything that we've done, we'd ask you to go ahead and comment in the comments below, and we'll create another video next week and answer some more questions. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
These are antiques. These are mantiques. Antique, mantique. These guys sell mantiques. This is their store.
We're bringing stuff every day, in and out, in and out, in and out. We're shaking and baking.
These are their customers.
Give me the rundown on the GMC.
This lived in a bar in Ghent in Belgium.
Follow Jim and Jeff from 9 to 5 or after hours as they buy, sell, and restore the coolest stuff for the coolest collectors worldwide.